Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper. The first article, the today is 22nd July 2016. The first article is related to the growing threat of terrorism, especially the Islamic terrorism promoted by a sectional Islamic state, is discussed by the M.K. Narayanan. So now in this context, let us see the events which have happened recently. Now, ISIS, it started in Iraq, spread to Syria, and now it has got its wings spread over the world. And it is a repeated reason for the terror attacks in Europe, including the recent lone wolf attack in Paris. And also it is the reason for attack in Turkey, Iraq, and also in Syria. And in our neighborhood, it has effectively attacked the Bangladesh, and it has issued repeated threats to the Bangladesh. And also the environment where the liberals, Hindus, etc., who are facing a systematic persecution from radicals in Bangladesh, providing a proper ground for this. So it means in our very neighborhood, ISIS is growing. And also in Hyderabad, a sleeper cell was arrested recently, and they have got this technology to prepare a bomb. And the same technology was used in Brussels and Paris attacks. It means the ISIS, without not being associated to the central authority, is able to spread the terror attacks through ideological influence using the social media. And it is attracting majorly the educated youth. So in those circumstances, India has to be careful about it. It has to perceive it as a real threat. And the security agencies are not taking a cognizance of this. And the second thing is, the West is taking up a propaganda that ISIS is about to end. Now, ISIS is not like Al-Qaeda. It is more fighting based on an ideological war. And in these circumstances, its ideology is more nihilistic and very factional and also very fundamental. So in these circumstances, the recent attacks in Turkey, France, Brussels, and all these show that still it has its poison alive. So in these circumstances, Indian security agencies need to take the stock of the situation. Living in a warmer country. Now, whenever we talk about climate change, we talk about mitigation of climate change, and the second thing is adaptation. What do you mean by mitigation? Where we agreed to decrease the global climate or rise in temperature below 2 degrees C, and efforts will be made to keep it at 1.5 degrees C of rise. This has been done at Paris. Now India has given its INDCs, that is nationally determined contributions, intended nationally determined contributions. According to that, by 2030, India is going to decrease its energy intensity by third based on the 2005 levels. The energy intensity means the amount of energy consumed for a unit of growth. And it also wants to get its 40% of energy from non-fossilized fuel sources by 2030. So this is an Herculean task for a developing country such as India. And also it talks about adaptation, but adaptation was not given a due priority or emphasis. Now there is also no proper talk or discussion on the adaptation in this climate change summits. So what the author argues is, India has to formulate adaptation strategies at every state, and by this it has to demonstrate that yes, a meaningful adaptation is possible to the world. India always stood for equitable sharing of the available carbon budget and also common but differential responsibilities. Though at the Paris conference they did not yield high, India still can insist on these things and can ask for adaptation fund by the developed countries to share their responsibilities or to acknowledge their responsibilities for causing climate change. Now coming to caste. The caste always played an incipient and also, I don't say it is incipient, it's a strong role with regard to Indian politics are concerned. And Indian politics by and large, they revolve around the caste. In these circumstances, UP elections are a symbolic of this. So, The caste-based rallies, caste alliances, these are defining the electoral outcomes. The social engineering is a concept which is used in elections in relation to the caste-based alliances and vote bank politics surrounding the caste. Now coming to Kashmiris. So with regard to the Kashmir, Rajnath Singh has clearly said that the Vajpayee's framework, that is Kashmiriyat, Jamhuriyat and Insaniyat, will form the basis to end this particular violence. On the other hand, Chidambaram says that whatever the grand bargaining given to Kashmiris under Article 370, if it is honored, obviously it will give a sense of identity, respect to their history, culture and religion that will provide the people to live in peace with the India. So that's what is the Chidambaram's view. And next is the Russia it is facing with regard to Rio Olympics. All the athletes of Russia are facing an exit now. It is because the Court of Arbitration of Sports in Russia, it has declared that rejected the Russia's appeal against a doping ban on its athletes team. Now, during Winter Olympics in Sochi, there is a huge mass-scale doping was found. So it has been described as Russia's state-sponsored doping. And then Olympics committee recommended for anti-doping actions, but Russia was not very active. Finally, this is what has attracted. So now, IAS officers. Now, investigation is followed by prosecution. Now, for prosecution of the IAS officers, the permission from the government is necessary. Now, investigative agency only has to sort this permission. Now, the government of India has allowed for the normal people also to seek the government a permission for prosecution of the IAS officers under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. And vigilantism. You know that cow vigilantism is growing and it is becoming a new security threat. Most of the hooligans, they themselves are gaining the cover of Go Raksha Dal, and these people are becoming a security threat and they are creating violence against the Dalits and minorities, and these fringe elements have to be restricted. And next is Prime Minister Modi. He has said our growth is intimately linked to our neighbors. So in integrated checkpost, it is opened at Petropol, and then it is the second such integrated checkpost opened between India and Bangladesh. The first one is at Agartala, Tripura. So, this is a prelims question which you can remember. So these are the articles for today. There are no important articles much over this. Thank you very much.